Hello, this is Dread from Epic Builds, and in today's video topic, we're going to be continuing my little series here, the last Epoch Hall of Fame, where I go out and I showcase other people's builds that have been inspired by my builds, of course. So the last one was with Almost Pie and his VK in the Vision Tourney, and this one's going to be Wim and his Cold Dot Werebear. He has taken my Cold Dot Werebear and pushed it to the absolute limits with gearing and everything else. Made it into a T4 Julra farmer, absolutely deathless T4 Julra farmer, by the way, and also pushed it all the way to 500 plus corruption. So let's let Wim introduce himself here. Go right ahead, Wim.
Hello, my name is Wim. I've always loved ARPGs, especially Last Epoch, the best one out of all of them. I always loved skills like Blade Vortex in Path of Exile, and Maelstrom just really clicked with me in Last Epoch. And when you made the build, I knew that was definitely the one I'm going to push with.
All right, so the first question I have for you today is going to be, what are the main differences between what I put out the other day versus like what you ended up with?
Okay, the main difference, the most important one to note, is I removed all the attack speed base. So it has actually a minus 2% attack speed. And I replaced it all for the Warcry node that increased the cold damage. I removed the skill points to remove the attack speed, which allowed me to put a lot more skill points into strength or HP. The other changes was not too much, to be honest. Mainly just more tankiness overall. So it's no dual wield. Um, which dual wield I personally don't really like the node that you take 15% more. Um, and it allowed me to run a bastion and then just a good one-handed weapon. I think the build guide you made was definitely really solid, and if you have the gear for it, if you would run this, it definitely wouldn't disappoint you.
Yeah, I think your version's obviously way better now. I when I made the first version, I wasn't really like looking for the best exactly. I was just like messing around with like attack speed and stuff. But yeah, the attack speed node, sadly, like the 45% chance to cast Maelstrom on hit, it isn't as strong as I thought it would be. But
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, I'm even thinking about just removing completely the swipe Maelstrom node to invest into more other nodes in the Werebear tree. I'm just not sure exactly what, but
yeah, that's
guess we'll
understandable.
see.
So for your T4 Durla fight, so what did you need before you were able to like just do her? Like, did you need the Ravenous Void? Like, what did you need exactly to be able to do her?
Okay, so what I did was slowly limit test it in every single tier. So as soon as I could tank the AoE beam on tier 3 without Ravenous Void, that's when I knew I could do tier 4. And the beam I'm talking about, the big AoE.
Yeah,
And then I went for tier 4 farming and I did it first without the Ravenous Void, which is fine. The only thing is the dot pools on the ground and the beam kind of start to hurt much more. So I wanted to make it so it gives me even a couple seconds longer to survive. So that's why I use Ravenous Voids. I think the Ravenous Void is probably just insane for this build, any tank build for that matter. The Bastion, you always want to try to stick a little bit close to her, so because you're melee built practically. You just want to try to avoid the beam slowly, make sure your Throne of Ambition stacks aren't going away. So you gain that armor mainly. We don't really particularly care about much more damage, but the armor is definitely really big.
yeah. I'm actually noticing after looking at your planner, you have a very heavy investment in armor, including not doing like HP on certain pieces. Is there a reason for that?
It's basically because I needed to make sure that I had the crit avoidance gap, but also all elemental resistance gap. So I had to sacrifice a lot of things. If it was up to me, I was thinking I could stick to 3k HP with a lot more armor, but that just didn't feel as well as just having 4k health, for instance. In only in boss fights, I would run the Throne of Ambition. Outside boss fights, I would just run double health stout idol.
Yeah. And with that armor investment, I see you're able to pretty much tank every single attack other than, of course, the beams and the big explosion, right?
Yeah, the big explosion. Well, you can tank it if you get full Throne of Ambition stacks. But the problem then is the pool that spawns right after it.
Yeah, yeah, the pool.
That will just kill you instantly. And I think if with enough investment into gear, like if you min max it, I think it can tank every single thing that Jorah can do.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I've actually heard a few things about so you know how like you're teleporting in and out? They might actually make it so she does the pool even though you're like spamming the D key, if that makes sense. Do you think you'll be able to handle it when that happens if they make it so she still casts a pool?
Yeah, I've done multiple runs that the pools still spawn. I've even done one that the pools spawn like in a certain bug that they're like spawn 100 after each other, which is really weird, which can happen if you do it too much. So just imagine like pools keep spawning every time you walk. That is really, really painful, and I still killed her with that. So it should be completely fine. Um, you can even stand in the pool for a couple seconds without dying, so I shouldn't see any problems.
So I saw that you pushed up to 500 corruption as well. How long did that take?
Um, well, I didn't push as much because I was in the meantime also farming the Black Sun for Bastion
Yeah.
and other items, but it took probably around um, if we're talking real life time for me personally, around a week from 200 to 500.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty yeah, that's pretty like average, yeah.
Yeah, and that is with just playing a normal amount on that echo, really nothing special. If you just have a regular job like I have, you should be able to do that.
Yeah, and the thing is like it's just the play style is so easy. It's like you can like just watch something on the side while you do monos, especially with how
Yeah,
tanky you are with this spec.
I normally watch movies while playing.
Hey, there's no shame in that. Sometimes you just want to, you're in the mood for that, especially after coming home from work. That's why this build seems to be so popular on YouTube. It's like everyone loves the AFK farm, man. And of course, the main difference I'm looking here, like I said, I see that like in general, you've just removed all of the attack speed everywhere. And like I said, that's such an insane change. And you're able to go for a bastion. Are you fine with not using a staff? Do you think you have enough damage with just a one-hander?
Yeah, the damage in higher corruptions, you're gonna notice that for just the regular echoes, you don't particularly need more damage. You really need more tankiness because random one shots are really common in Last Epoch, and that's only gonna increase with every patch. At least that's what it feels like.
Yeah, especially for a
Um,
build like this.
yeah, this build is any dot build really. You go slightly slower. It's not like you blow things up. Um, so I think it's just it's okay how it is right now. The Bastion is just amazing. Try to make sure you want to be in monsters their face,
Yeah, you want to be in melee
24/7.
range.
That's also why I run the block chance on the rings.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
for the block
exactly.
effectiveness alone. It's just more than to me than health.
Yeah, black. Well, the thing is you have so much health as a werebear, right? That like it's way better to just lessen your health a little bit and get a little bit more DR because in the end you end up with more EHP because adding like an extra 100 health is not equal to adding like 400 block effectiveness or whatever like that, right? So that's why that's such a big change. That's why he's running block effectiveness rings, by the way. The block chance is cool against enemies that aren't like exactly near you, but obviously it's mainly for the block effect because the more block effect you have, the more DR you have, and that on top of the Ravenous Void DR, on top of the Bastion DR, on top of the Werebear DR, it's just enough to make your 3.8k HP pool feel like as though it's like 16k. And that's mainly why he's sacrificing so much HP just to be tankier overall is with the DR stuff, especially with the armor. Like I've noticed you said with the Thorn Shield, you're up to like what 80% armor you said with Thorn Shields up?
Uh, you should be at 80% almost all the times in Echo. At boss fights, you can get up to 85%.
Yeah, because the Thorn of Ambition stacks, and if you get hit and there's like a Thorn Shield. Cool. All right. Well, with all that being said, I think that's pretty much anything for everything from me. Anything else you want to add?
Make sure to subscribe. Best channel on YouTube.
All right. With all that being said, thank you so much for coming on, Wim.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching, whoever's watched this far. With all that being said, have a wonderful rest of your day wherever you're at, and bye.